Alright, so today we're going to talk about area of regular polygons, and there are some things that you gotta know. So there's a point called the center, and when you go from the center to the side, directly straight down, that's called the apothem. Okay, so they're going to use that as the apothem. If you go from the center to a corner, like in there, like an angle, that is my radius. Okay, so that would be my radius. And you can see there, it forms this right triangle. And when it forms that right triangle, it means that you can find the area of that one triangle. So let's go ahead and do some examples. So, example number one. So you can see here that when you connect this, your radius, you get a right triangle. So I'm going to redraw the right triangle down here. It says this is 7. Now the thing about regular polygons is that all their sides are congruent. So this side down here is 24.2. But as you can see, the apothem, this piece right here, has divided this into 2 equal parts. So what I need to do is I need to take 24.2 and divide it by 2. And that gives me this base of 12.1. Again, we're finding the area of the polygon, but to do that, we need to find the area of this triangle right here first. So let's find the area of that triangle. So remember, area is 1/2 base times height. We know the base. Base is 12.1. The height is 7. 12.1 times 7, because you multiply these two first. That gives you 84.7. And then you divide that by 2, and you get that the area of this triangle is 42.35. Okay, now, the next thing we need to be able to find the area of the whole thing is we need to know how many right triangles do we have in the figure. And the right triangles we have is 2 times the number of sides. Well, we have in this figure 3 sides because it's a triangle. So that means that I'm going to have 6 right triangles. Okay, so if I want to find the area of the whole figure, I take the area of the one triangle, which is 42.35, and I multiply it by the number of right triangles that I have, which in this case is 6. So my area of this whole figure is 254.1, and the units I think were feet, so it would be feet squared. Okay. So let's do another one. So remember, same thing, connect it. So you're going to have your right triangle. So I'm going to redraw my right triangle here. And again, in this case, they give me the height to be 16. All the sides are 13.3. So to find this one piece, I have to take 13.3 and divide it by 2. And I get 6.65. That's this piece right here. So once you get that, you're going to do the area of the triangle. So area equals 1/2 base times height. The base is 6.65. The height is 16. So 6.65 times 16 first gives me 106.4. Divide that by 2. You get 53.2. That's this one triangle. But remember, we have to figure out how many right triangles we have. And to do that, we got to do 2 times the number of sides in the figure. In this figure, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides. So that means that I have 16 right triangles. So again, to find the area of the whole thing, you take the area of the one triangle, which is 53.2, and you multiply it by the number of right triangles you have, which is 16. So 53.2 times 16 gives me 851.2 centimeters squared. All right, that is type 1. So let's go ahead and go on to type 2. Okay, and notice in these types, you're not given a side length. Okay, so we're still going to draw a right triangle, just like we've been doing. So I'm going to redraw my right triangle, and this is 5. When you don't have any other sides, the next step you have to do is to find the angle. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the formula n minus 2 times 180 divided by n. That's going to give me the interior angle. Then I have to take that interior angle and divide it by 2. So n represents the number of sides again. So in this case, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So it would be 6 minus 2 times 180 over 6. And then that is divided by 2. So 6 minus 2 is 4. So 4 times 180 over 6 divided by 2. So you get 720 divided by 4. And then again, I got to divide that by 2. Sorry, divided by 6, not 4. 6, because that 6 was the number of sides. So that's 120, and then divided by 2 is 60. This number right here, this number represents the angle in this bottom corner. And if that's 60, that means this top angle has to be 30. So, to be able to find the area of this triangle, I need the base. Okay? It's a 30, 60, 90 right triangle. And remember, in the 30, 60, 90 right triangle, the side opposite 60, which is 5 in this case, is always equal to the base times the square root of 3. So to find the base, we're going to have to divide both sides by the square root of 3. So you get 5 over the square root of 3 equals the base. You're going to multiply by the square root of 3 on the top and the bottom. So you get 5 square root 3 over 3 is your base. That is my base. So now I can find the area of this figure. Find the area of the triangle. Remember, it's 1/2 base times height. Well, the base we just said is 5 square root 3 over 3. The height is 5. When you multiply this 5 gets multiplied to this 5 to give you 25 square root 3. This 2 multiplies to this 3 to give you 6. So the area of this figure is that, or the area of the triangle. Then we need to determine how many right triangles we have. To do 2n, so that's 2 times, I think it was a 6-sided figure. N was 6, it was. So that's 12. So we're going to find the area. It is this times this. And when you multiply that, only this and this are going to get multiplied. So 25 times 12 gives you 300. And then 300 divided by 6 gives you an area of 50 square root 3. All right, the next one's going to be a little bit easier. Okay. So again, draw my right triangle. So here it is. So I'm going to redraw it out here. That's 18. There's your right angle. And you got nothing else. And then remember when we said we have nothing else, we have to use this formula. Okay. To get that thing. So we have 3 sides of the figure. The 3 minus 2 is 1, and 1 times 180 is just 180. So 180 divided by 3, which is divided by 2. So 60 divided by 2 gives you a 30-degree angle. And remember, that 30-degree angle always goes in this bottom corner. So again, in this case, you have another 30, 60, 90 right triangle. But this time you have the short side. So remember, the next side would be the short side times the square root of 3. So I have my base, and that's always the case. So we can find the area of this triangle by doing area is equal to 1/2 base times height. So the base is 18 square root 3. The height is 18. So remember, outside to outside, so 18 times 18 gives you 324. And then you got to divide that number by 2. And you get 162 square root 3. That number represents the area of the figure. So again, you need the number of right triangles that you're going to have in that figure. So that's 2n. There's 3 sides in this. Means I'm going to have 6 right triangles. So to find the area of the whole thing, you take the area of the triangle, which is 162 square root 3, and times it by the number of right triangles you have, which is 6. And to find your final area, multiply the outside to the outside. Your final area would be 972 square root 3. Okay, I have 2 more examples to show you. Okay, and these ones are, again, slightly different. So again, I'm going to draw my right triangle. Okay, so here's my right triangle. Again, the height is 10. Okay, same thing. We don't have any other information, so we have to do this formula of n minus 2 times 180 over n, and then we divide that number by 2. Number of sides in this case is 5, so it's 5 minus 2 times 180 over 5 divided by 2, which gives you 3 times 180 divided by 5 over 2. So 3 times 180 is 540 divided by 5, and then divide that by 2. 540 divided by 5 is 108, and 108 divided by 2 is 54. So that goes in this bottom corner. 54 goes there. We need the base. We need this piece right here. And because it's not a special right triangle, the only other way we can approach it is by doing the trig function. So we have the opposite, we have the adjacent, so that means we're going to do tangent. So it's tangent of 54 equals 10 over x, which means I'm going to do x equals 10 divided by the tangent of 54. Now I'm going to pull up my calculator on the computer here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, you can see that I have it up here. So again, I'm going to hit 10, divided by 54 tan. Okay, and hit equals, and I get this number. X equals 7.265. Okay, but notice I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to leave that in the calculator just like that. So now we have our base. So now I can find my area of my triangle. To find the area, again, it's 1/2 base times height. So that's 1/2 times the base of 7.265 times my height, which is 10. Now, in my calculator, notice I had a rounded number here, but in my calculator, all I'm going to do, because I need to take that base, that's the base that I have right there on the screen in my calculator, I'm going to hit times 10 and hit equals. So I get this, 1/2 of 72.65. But again, I'm not changing the number in my calculator. Okay, and then we got to hit divided by 2, it equals, and you get 36.33. Okay, so that's the area of the triangle. Then again, after we find the area of the triangle, we need to determine how many right triangles we're going to have. And that's by doing 2 times the number of sides. And again, I think it's a pentagon, so we had 5 sides, so that means it's 10 right triangles. So to find the final area, you take this number and multiply it by this number. And that number, this first number right here, I already have it in my calculator. So all I have to do is hit times 10 equals, and now I'll round to whatever they want me to. Let's just say it's the 100, so 363.27. The reason I keep my numbers in the calculator is you don't want to round too early, because if you round too early, then it might screw up your answer at the end. Okay. So the last one. Okay, same thing. Draw my right triangle. There it is. It's a nice long skinny one. Okay. We don't have anything else, so that means we have to do this n minus 2 formula times 180 over n, and then divide that by 2 again. The number of sides in this case is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's an octagon, so 8 minus 2 times 180 divided by 8, and then divide that by 2. Okay, so 8 minus 2 is 6. So 6 times 180 gives you 1080. Divide that by 8. You get 135. And then you divide that by 2. You get 67.5. And that goes right here. Okay? And again, you need the base, so we're going to use the tangent function. The tangent of 67.5 equals 6 over x. So x is equal to 6 divided by the tangent of 67.5. So again, I'm going to move my calculator over to the other side. You can see it. I'm going to do 6 divided by 67.5, hit tan. That equals, so I get 2.485. And that's going to be my base. Okay, so now that I have my base, I can do my area of my triangle. So it's 1/2 times the base of 2.485. But again, notice in my calculator, I didn't round, times the height. The height of this was 6. So in my calculator, all I have to do is hit times 6 equals, and I get 14.912. And then again, same thing. Keep the number in your calculator. Just hit divided by 2 equals. You get 7.456. But again, I'm not changing my calculator. So now that I have the area of the triangle, we have to determine how many right triangles we have. Okay, so that's 2 times n. 2 times, in this case, is 8 sides. So that's 16 of them. So to find my final area, it's this number times this number. But remember, this first number is already in calculator, so all you have to do is hit times 16 equals, and there's your area. It is 119.29.